Greetings, upstanders. Doctor here, and I gotta talk about Nicki Minaj, who gave a speech at the United Nations. She got played by Trump, y'all. Straight up, no doubt. She got played, which is sad because she actually said some really good things in there, but she got played. It reminds me of a movie that just came out called Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, which looks at the 1961 assassination of Lumumba and how the United States government was sending over black artists like Dizzy Gillespie to the Congo and, to showcase American music and art to kind of warm Congolese up, while at the same time that Dwight Eisenhower was calling for the assassination of Lumumba. And then many of these artists found out that they got played and like stormed the UN and everything once they got back to the United States. And so many people were involved in this. It's a really powerful documentary. It also has me thinking about Malcolm X, who talked about how these, white establishment looks at our entertainers as our leaders. And that's what I'm thinking about as it relates to Nicki Minaj. She got played. She saw a post by Trump on Live Social and about Christians and genocide, and she liked it. And then Mike Waltz, the UN ambassador who couldn't even keep a position in the United States, calls her up, calls her the greatest ever, and puts her in front of the United States nations to put a speech on about the persecution of Christians. And I was about to just hit record and just start talking about it, but we need to be able to actually listen to what we're talking about before we talk about it. So I went and listened to the speech. And there were some good things that were said in there, no doubt. She talked about the natural right to freedom of religion, of belief. She talked about the ability to be able to freely worship God and whoever you believe in. She talked a lot about whoever people believe in and unity and the like. She said faith is under attack in way too many places. She didn't say just Christian faith. She said faith. She said, it's a problem when a church, mosque, or place of worship is attacked. That's a problem. Beautiful. And I'm not even being sarcastic. That's great. She talked about the importance of, interfaith ties and the importance to stand up in the face of injustice. Way to go, Nicki Minaj. Here's where you got played, Nicki. And this is where just talking to some experts, reading some other articles, meeting with your team to do some research could help you. There is not a genocide of Christians in Nigeria. Are there people in Nigeria who are Christian who have been killed and churches that have been targeted? Absolutely. But there are also Muslims who have been targeted. There are also people who don't possess either belief, Christianity or Islam, who have been targeted. And people want to bring up groups like Boko Haram and their idea to want to, and people say this is just a Muslim group. Boko Haram has killed more Muslims than they have Christians. And so people who want to cite that, it's ridiculous. And look, the president of Nigeria is Muslim, and his wife is a Christian. I believe she's a pastor on top of that. And so and to be quite honest, much of these challenges that exist between these groups it's not even about religion. It's more about ethnic identity issues, and the religion part is secondary. You should have done some research to understand that, Nicki Minaj. This is not a Christian just like it's not a genocide of white people in South Africa. It's not a Christian genocide. And when the government of Nigeria is saying, if you want to work with, and I'm going to get to this part. But if the government of Nigeria says, you want to work with us in the Trump administration, help us with the resources to target these extremists. Because what Trump is actually doing is giving a platform to these extremists as well. Oh, and by the way, whenever you hear people talk about Trump talk about going into places like Venezuela and Nigeria, always ask yourself the question, whatever nonsense that he's talking about, are they oil rich? Hey, Venezuela. Hey, Nigeria. Yeah. Now, here's the other part of Nicki Minaj's, I don't want to call it hypocrisy. I would say lack of information. She talked about a mosque being targeted and how that's problematic. Have you met the the Secretary of Defense in this country? Pete Hegseth is an Islamophobe. The Trump administration is full of Islamophobes. Pete Hegseth talks about the flaming sword of Christ that he wants to use against Muslims. This guy was drunk at a party and was talking about kill all Muslims. You're working with a president who had a Muslim ban, and you want to talk about, well, the head of Saudi Arabia was there, the prince and all this other type of stuff. Look, when you get to a certain level, it's all about money. So don't look at these relationships with Saudi Arabia and think about, oh, they really care about Muslims. This Trump administration doesn't give a damn about Muslim people. Have you looked at Islamophobic attacks? Have you looked at how they treated Zohran Mamdani in your city of New York? Which leads me to New York. You talk about compassion and justice for everybody. Have you said anything about the ICE raids? You want to talk about Christianity? Christianity is talk about love thy neighbor. Have you seen what happened on Canal Street in New York? Have you seen what's happening under Trump and Bovino and Homan with these ICE raids? People talk, the Christianity is talk about feeding the hungry. Have you heard about what's happening with SNAP benefits that's affecting your barbz? That's real, Nikki. Clothing those who need, sheltering those. Have you looked at the homeless crisis in this country and how this president is making deals with real estate giants and moguls who are buying up land and just, renting it out, or the rent's too damn high, or just sitting on it? There's a housing crisis. What Christian ideal has Trump exhibited in the United States? Not to mention what he and Musk have done with USAID and killing more people have been killed in African countries and other parts of the world by the closing of USAID than anything Boko Haram or any of these other groups are doing on the continent, and anything that any white South Africans have experienced. So Nikki, and people are talking about, yeah, you're out there also promoting your music and all of that other type of stuff in the speech. I'm not really going to get into that. You also, you've never been to Nigeria. So to Nicki Minaj, like, I appreciate your talk about the need to want to bring people together, the need to have unity, the need to have people be able to worship freely however they choose to. Your ability to talk about mosques being attacked, churches being attacked, other places of worship, because as you know, there are traditional religions that existing in Nigeria as well. But you are working for a man who is everything Christianity is not. A man who said he doesn't even believe in asking for forgiveness. And there's nothing Christian about his policies right here in the United States. And he is using your Christian faith, and he is using your passion for Christianity. I don't know your music enough. Look, to be clear, I look at you as one of the greatest lyricists out there. There's no doubt, I'm not even throwing you. So I have respect for your craft. I respect the fact that you said at one point that you, on all of your songs, you've either written them entirely yourself or you are a co-writer on that. Mad respect. So this isn't even about your artistic talent or anything like that. But if you're going to step into this arena, where we're talking about politics, or we're talking about religion, or we're talking about faith, and we're talking about unity, you owe it to your fans, you owe it to your barbz in Nigeria, you owe it to the people who are listening to you to get your facts right, and you owe it to yourself and your reputation to not let Trump use you. Trump used you and let you take your platform and spread it out to millions and millions of people across the world who are now looking at an African country and talking about they are persecuting Christians when the situation in Nigeria is so much more complex. I'm going to be posting an article in the comments, in the description, that a lot of you all can read, that if you want to get a basic idea of what's actually going on in Nigeria, it could be very helpful. But just framing this in some type of Christian versus Muslim mindset, or Christians under attack mindset, that's what Trump is doing. Don't be down with this dude. Don't be down with Hegseth. Don't take their narrative, liking their posts on Live Social and using it and putting it out there to your major platform. You could be a powerful force for good, even in helping to bring Nigerians together. But doing it in working in cahoots with Trump is not going to get you the type of respect that you want. And once again, I would love to see some statements about the need for the Christian mindset in these United States under this government, because everything he's doing is anti-Christian and it's immoral. And if you're going to use your platform to speak up on something, you should speak up on that. And if you're going to continue to speak up on Nigeria, you owe it to yourself and your followers to get a little bit more informed. I'm happy to talk to you about it. I'm sure you got people you can call on the phone right now that can talk to you about it. But please stop letting Trump play you. And to all of y'all out there who are either taking Trump's policies, or y'all Pharrells of the world who are talking about, I don't care about politics, all of y'all are playing into Trump's hand. All of y'all also out there saying we need to build our own black land and all this other type of stuff and withdraw from this stuff, but you're still paying taxes into this government, should be speaking up. So yeah, Nikki, I appreciate the desire to want to speak up, but you're being used by this president, and I'm hoping that going forward, you will not allow yourself to be used. There's so many other vehicles and outlets that you can use to speak up on what's happening in Nigeria. This is not the way to go. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button. Check out that movie I was talking about, soundtrack to a coup d'etat. You see this stuff playing out all and over again. Subscribe. Help me get to 25,000 subscribers. Get the best-selling book, Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racist Stereotypes and Why It Matters. And let's keep calling out our black entertainers to be informed and use their power for good. That's what I want. And this is a situation where one of our artists once again got played. Let me know what you think. Peace.